Some problems here. 1 2 1 2. Hi everybody, welcome. It is Pugs Moran live, Pugs and Company actually. Sorry about that. The Pillow Talk edition here for a Sunday night. There we go. See if we get E in here. All right, E, what's happening? Can you hear me all right?
I can.
Man, why does it sound so weird? Something strange is going on here. Keep talking. Do me a favor. Count to 10 for me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
No, keep talking.
11, 12, 13, 14.
Yeah, I don't. This is weird. It's coming out. Hey, James Parker.
What are those glasses?
There we go. James, can you hear me all right?
I can.
All right. I don't know if there's something is weird happening here. There's like a
echo.
I don't know if the thing is messed up. Hold on. We'll figure this out. Maybe if we do this. No? What is that? You can talk amongst yourselves. Go ahead. I need to do something while you guys are talking. Interview each other. Come on, help me out here. Help me out.
We're live on the air already? You already started the show?
Yeah. I think so. Audio is loud with echo.
You sound a little reverby.
How do you hear, James? Do you have earbuds in?
Oh, I have a little earpiece.
an earpiece. Okay.
Do you even see it?
I do not.
Yeah. It's so when I went and worked for the TV station, they give you this like epoxy that you mix together and then you stick it in your ear and it makes a mold, and then they send it off to some country or a company like in Wisconsin, and they make a earpiece that fits in your ear.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's clear and it has like that little tube, like I'm in the Secret Service, but I'm not doing it. Can you even see it? Yeah,
I see a little bit of a tube that you pulled.
It's like the telephone cord looking tube. You know, my kids have never seen that telephone cord before.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And
yeah.
you clip it to the back of your neck or back.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a clip. Just like just like if I was protecting the president or anchoring the evening news, it's all the same.
Got it.
They're both equally important.
Well, evidently, according to the chat room, we sound fine. It's Pugs that's got the echo.
So, yeah, there's something going on here. I don't know what it is, but for the first time ever, I'm hearing everything coming through the computer. And I don't know what to do here. How do you do? Where is the goddamn volume? Oh, see, sorry. I didn't mean to be that hot.
Pugs is real good under pressure. That's what he's known for.
Keeping a level head.
There's no volume control on it. It's blaring out of the computer. So I don't know what to do.
Well, It's all right. Just check your audio settings. Whoop-de-doo. Go under settings.
I am.
And then where it says video input and audio output, and make sure that's pointed at the right stuff.
Something. See, now I can't hear anything. If it's not coming through. I need you guys to keep talking. I need to be able to hear. So
you need to hit that little thing under the screen that looks like a gear, and that's your settings. And then just check it's probably your audio output. Is it set on default? Make sure it's specifically on what it's supposed to be on. Yeah.
Well, we have a barn burner going here.
Your input. It could be like, is that pointing at your Scarlett box or whatever you're using for audio interface? What did Ed set up for you? No idea.
On Sunday Night Football, we got the Packers up 24-21.
So that first game with the Packers was just a fluke when the Saints blew them out. That's not the real Packers, right?
Well, I mean, they look certainly a lot better than they did the first week.
All right, well, here, me and Emil, can we just start talking about the first thing I wanted to talk about then while Pugs is jacking around? Because here's what I'm seeing now. And look, Brian Laundrie's been on the run for like 14 days, and this isn't about him. Now this is about his parents' house. Dog the Bounty Hunter showed up at his parents' house yesterday afternoon at like 4:30 in the afternoon. It's just Dwayne Chapman, Dog the Bounty Hunter, the guy you've seen on TV for, a decade or whatever. He's literally knocking on the screen door like bang, 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 bang. And it's funny because you have people who are just stationed there around the clock. So if anything happens, record it. So there's a few TV cameras there. And by a few, I mean like 3. And these guys just walk up in the driveway to film Dog the Bounty Hunter knocking on Brian Landry's parents' door. And he's calling Ed, and we can hear him. And you see the neighbors in the back because one of them's on the side. The cross look, the neighbors come out on the porch. Like the wife comes out first, and you can kind of see a silhouette of the wife. She's like, "What's going on over there now?" And then the husband comes out and kind of stands behind her, and you can see him. It's just they're sort of backlit, and you can kind of tell like they're going back and forth, and they laugh. They're like, ha, ha, ha. You can tell they're enjoying the whole scene. And then the cameraman turns to his right, and there's the guy in his other neighbor on the other side who's in his little side yard that's fenced in with one of those chain link fences that are like 3 feet tall.
Right.
And he's laughing too. He's like, "Oh man, look, it's Dog." And both of the neighbors seem to be having fun with this situation. And on one hand, it's like, "Oh, y'all are real sickos." This family's going through the greatest ordeal of their lives. But on the other hand, I think I would be one of those people. I think I would be laughing my butt off. I'd be like, "Oh my God, baby, you got to come out here. Check this out. It's Dog the Bounty Hunter. It's knocking on the Landry's door." No, I'm serious. I'm serious. What would you be doing if that was your neighbor? Would you be enjoying it, or would you be like, "Oh, all this unwanted attention and all this traffic and blocking the highway, and I don't like my kids being filmed and stuff like that"? Where would you be on this?
I mean, I guess I would be like freaked out as to how the hell is Dog the Bounty Hunter in my neighborhood in Florida? Like that seems to me like it would be a little bit weird. And so I'd probably be taken back by that, a little bit.
Now, again, is it weird? Is it weird that the highest profile missing person guy on the run case would attract the highest profile bounty hunter in the country? I wouldn't have called it, but it's not unexpected. It's not weird. It's just okay. It's an admission that the hype is at that level.
Well, I mean, we have Dog the Bounty Hunter, we have John Walsh, we have Nancy Grace. I mean, 3 people that have just kind of come out of the mothballs on this particular case. It's just kind of shocking to me.
It's a cottage industry is what it is. And what do
It
these
is. It
people
really
do?
is.
Do they just chill at the beach drinking Corona Lights between Casey Anthony to Gabby Petito? Yeah, this is all. I don't want to say it's funny, but I would be one of the neighbors that was enjoying this. I would be like, this is like our little 15 minutes. They're going to find this guy's dead body somewhere between here and Mexico pretty soon, or maybe out in the swamps. And then all these cameramen and all this attention is going to go away. We can go back to our normal lives. But right now, things are hot, and I would enjoy it.
And I think, like, kind of, what did Dog really think was going to happen when he knocked on the door? He wasn't thinking they were going to answer. Like, that to me seemed like part of the publicity stunt. Okay, I'm going to get myself recognized because I'm going to walk up here and knock on the door. And then when he was interviewed, he said, well, he's, reason he's doing that because he's a guy of second chances. And he wanted to talk to the parents and, help the parents find this kid. He wants to find him alive, and thinking he's not going to find him.
He was pushing his hotline 833-TELL-DOG. And on one hand, that sounds so ridiculous. If you had a tip, why wouldn't you call the cops? Why wouldn't you call the FBI or call Moab or anybody but a TV star, Dog the Bounty Hunter? On the other hand, this is kind of the year 2021, and we've seen so much crazy stuff happen between Jesse Smollett and Milli Vanilli that maybe he will be the guy that catches him and cracks his case wide open, and that would be just like super sweet, like the sort of pop culture champagne bottle just popping and spewing all over the place. I think there's a real chance Dog the Bounty Hunter is going to be the guy that gets Brian Laundrie. Why the hell not?
Well, I think the first guy that heads out of the Carlton Reserve and starts looking somewhere else is going to be the most likely to catch Brian Laundrie if he's alive. I don't think there's any way possible that he's alive in the Carlton Reserve at this particular point in time. Like, he would be in a living hell. I mean, he can't move during the day.
Right.
He's got alligators and snakes. At night, how can you move? You don't know where you're going. I mean,
Bro,
it
just the
just
mosquitoes would ruin life for me if that was me. I'm not a mountain man. Do not put me in the swamps. I need to live in air conditioning and bug spray and all the amenities of the modern world. So yeah, he's got to be in like Mexico or something.
I don't know if he made it to Mexico. I think.
Bugs, how you doing over there? You want to try it?
I'm deathly afraid to speak.
That sounds
Deathly
better.
afraid to. Does it sound better?
Yeah,
Chat room. Did I fix it? Is there is there
Perfect.
still an echo?
Nope.
Albert's busy trying to bait us into talking politics.
Well, we can talk about that. I think you would appreciate my take on this topic.
On what topic?
On Biden's.
Oh, no, we can't. Yeah, no, sorry. I thought you were talking about something. No, we can't. I don't ever want to hear that fucking name on this show. I don't want to hear the other fucking name on this show. I just don't want to hear it.
What about Woodrow Wilson? He had a stroke and they let him stay
That's fine. We can talk all you want about Woodrow Wilson because at this point, that's history. That's, you know, that dude ain't ever going to come back and divide us. Okay.
He's stressed out today, isn't he, Animal?
What's that?
Animal, isn't he a little stressed out today?
Yeah,
I'm very stressed out. You want to know why I'm stressed out? And I'll jump into your whole dog the bone kind of thing. Where are you?
Yeah, I mean, all right.
Okay, so first of all, the guest we were supposed to have tonight, we're not going to have him. He's going to be on tomorrow at 1:30. Okay, that's tomorrow. The special guest that I promised, unfortunately, there's a time difference, and it was a little bit later than he and I both thought. So we're going to do it in the noon hour tomorrow. So my dear friend, my first boss, my mentor, the guy who got me started in radio, Kevin Matthews, has some things he wants to say. So he's going to be on the show with us tomorrow. That's at 1:30 during high noon, and not tonight. Do apologize, but well, maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. But he's in a different time zone, and it's much later than what we had thought. How we doing? It sounds better. Okay, thank you, Albert. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Ross. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, John. That's good. I appreciate all of that. Okay.
Talk about it.
I'm a little stressed. No. First, you want to know why I'm a little bit stressed out right now, okay? A little bit stressed out. Ugh. Had my kid this weekend. Love having my kid. Hi, James. If you can see me down there. See, I got Emil now in the high five box, but I don't know that he's, willing to try the high five. So James, maybe a low five. There we go. 1, 2. I don't even have my legs exposed. 1, 2, 3. High five. I don't know why we can't get the coordination down. All right, had my kid this weekend. It was a great weekend. We had a wonderful time. We had a very nice dance. And my God, folks, was Saturday the nicest day ever? It was such a beautiful day around these parts on Saturday. We had a great day. Everything's going fine. Then 10 minutes before it comes time for me to take him back to his mama's house, suddenly he's sick. Suddenly he's not feeling good, right? He threw up in the bathroom. Do you have any idea the kind of stress, the kind of pressure it puts on a weekend dad when you've got to drop your kid off at mom's house, having broken him? I broke him. And I know that, he's sick, whatever, anybody can get sick. No. That's on me. I was the one that was supposed to be out there with a wiffle ball bat knocking away all the germs that were about to infest him, but somehow he got sick. Now, it's not a cough. It's not a lung issue. It's nothing to do with COVID. Here's what I think it is. Do you know what this kid did this afternoon? Emil, you went to lunch with us. You saw he got a nice, healthy turkey sandwich from Jersey Mike's, or at least as healthy as we can say that is for lunch. He had a decent breakfast as well. My kid opened up a can of raw refried beans in the can and just started eating them without cooking them, like he's some kind of Depression era migrant. Like he just with a spoon and a can, and he's just eating the refried beans.
He's the homeless guy lives in a train box.
Yes, exactly. Like he's riding the rails, like he's trying to find the real America. He's out there. He's got a can of refried beans, and he's spooning it into his mouth. And I didn't even see him do this. What I saw were the remnants. What I saw was a half-open can, with the lid still like craned open, So I saw a can of refried beans with the lid craned open and a spoon still in it, just sitting in the sink. Like he tried to put it away, like he almost, but it's the spoon. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And he goes, I wanted some beans. Okay, so we made tacos last night. I made some really nice chicken tacos last night. There are cooked refried beans in the refrigerator. He said he had a taste for them because of last night. So he just opened up a room temperature can of refried beans off the shelf and just started eating them. And then an hour and a half later, he's throwing up. And now here we are 4 hours later, and he just calls me and he's like, I'm still sick. I just threw up. Mom thinks it's food poisoning. I'm like, God. And now I'm lucky she's cool, but still, that's me. I returned my kid home this weekend broken. He was in a great position when I picked him up. I brought home a blue-colored kid with vomit on his collar.
So refried beans will make you sick?
Straight from the can, I'm guessing. I'm guessing it's a possibility. Look, we don't know that that's
done that.
You have like a hobo?
Yes.
Like a transient?
Yes, I've done that. Yeah, I've done that a few times.
Just straight from the can?
Yes, eating refried beans. I'm pretty sure they're already cooked. They're called refried beans, which means they've been fried at some point or at least cooked or gone through the process. I don't think you can take the blame here.
Well, look, I'm right now. I'm looking at blaming Jersey Mike's. I'm saying
he might have got something on the door handle at the bathroom at Jersey Mike's, or the little stall lock they have in the bathroom at Jersey Mike's.
I can see this piece of tape being brought up in the courtroom when I try to sue Jersey Mike's over this. It's like, Your Honor, I've got a piece of tape. My client opened a can of refried. I mean,
yeah, and I'm a gastroenterologist, so that's basically expert testimony.
My point is, because he ate the refried beans straight from the can, there was no way to know if it
beans
was Jersey
doesn't carry salmonella or stuff like that.
Dude, it's still refried. It's just beans in a can.
But it's not sterile. It's in a can, so when it comes out the factory, it's not like it's getting infected with other stuff and it's festering in there like some sort of open wound.
I don't think you can eat any food from a can that needs to be cooked.
Oh my God.
And I don't think you can. You can eat like SpaghettiOs from a can. You can just like open up a can of SpaghettiOs and just start eating them straight from the can.
Bro, were you never in your 20s? I ate most of my food from a can.
I still cooked my food. I still cooked the stuff I ate.
Well, I didn't have the bourgeois lifestyle that you did, sir. I ate plenty of stuff out of a can. I ate green beans out of a can. I ate peas out of a can. I ate the little canned carrots, the little canned potatoes. I ate canned meats. I eat Spam. I ate the little Vienna sausages. A lot of ramen thrown in there, but I guess that doesn't apply too much here. But I've eaten just about anything that comes in the can. I've eaten it out of a can.
All right. So I just asked Google, can you eat refried beans straight from the can? And it says canned beans can be eaten directly from the can without additional cooking since they are pre-cooked. However, before enjoying them as is, or if you decide to cook them, definitely rinse them off with cool water. Well, he didn't do that either. And these aren't refried beans. These are obviously, they're talking about real beans.
No, they're talking about, well, whatever. It's fine. Just about anything out of the can is you don't have to cook it. It's not like raw chicken. There's not, or pork even. Then it's trichinella or anything in there. It's eat it all. I've done it. Been there.
I still broke my kid. I still sent him home, and suddenly he's sick.
You know what I've eaten an insane amount of too is like canned biscuits, the dough out of canned biscuits. I don't think you can get salmonella from those. I don't think it has like your regular.
Oh my God, are you a billy goat? What is going on with your stomach? I mean, raw.
Because when you go to make the can of biscuits, it's because you're hungry. Now you can wait another 12 minutes for the biscuits to be nice and brown, and then you got to take them out and cool them and butter them and all that stuff. It's like 15 minutes before you get to eat. So you just like eat one or maybe just half of one of the biscuit doughs. So just to kind of tide you over while it's cooking.
You people in the chat room are absolute animals. Everybody is saying that it's perfectly fine to eat that stuff. Even meat from a can is not raw. Tuna, Spam,
look, Ross Rubio, look at Ross. Ross has got it right. Refried beans out of a can is practically bean dip. Still, like when you buy it next to the chips and it's bean dip, that's just refried beans coming out of the can.
No. You know what? No, I'm sorry. I need to be a better father than that. I can't be allowing my kid.
No, this absolves you of blame. This means you are a better father.
How is it your fault he opened up a can?
Because I should have been watching him. That's how.
You don't need to be watching him. He's 11 years old. He's 12 years old.
Yeah, that's why I got to watch him even more. It's even harder. It's more difficult. I can't go in the other room for 5 minutes. This kid's eating. You know what else he eats raw? Ramen noodles. He'll just open up a bag of ramen.
He's old enough to go on a date to an ice cream shop. He's old enough to know better than to open a can of beans.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You would think those things would intersect. You're right. I don't know, though. I don't know that you check one box and it equally means the other box is available. I don't think so, man. I know what you're saying. Yeah, he's old enough to have a girlfriend. He's old enough to go on his first date, but he's not old enough.
I mean, there's a lot more things we need to be worried about than him opening up a can of beans.
Well, right now, the concern is what's making him vomit. And I have narrowed it down to probably the can of beans that he ate this afternoon. Or it's Jersey Mike's.
Jeff says refried beans should be safe straight out of the can. It's just like bean dip. Another vote.
Or he just got a stomach bug, which is very possible. And he's just sick. I mean, kids get sick. That happens.
Yeah, no, he didn't get a stomach bug. It's probably from all the garbage. I noticed. Oh, God.
I mean,
you have no idea. You have no idea. You're judging me. Every time I bring him home, if he's not better than the way I picked him up, I feel like I've somehow stunted his growth. I don't know. Yeah, he also ate a bag of Takis this weekend. You know what Takis are? You ever had those Takis?
Yeah.
Like a noodle or something?
No, Takis are like a snack chip that were apparently just invented in the last 5 years. Either that or they've been around in Mexico for decades, but we never had them. And they're like they're the rolled up, they're like Doritos, they're like corn chips, and they're rolled up really tight. So they're like almost look like little incense sticks, sort of, except then they're like rolled in like a spicy hot spice with lime. So it's like
chili dust.
Yeah.
I think I've seen these. Yeah.
Really good. He ate a whole bag of discount Takis. And by discount Takis, I mean,
it's all about
I don't know, whatever they were at the dollar store, but he bought like a whole bag of them and ate them over the course of 3 days. But, what are you going to do?
Hey, I got another quick food side note since we're already.
Wait, we got to go back to the whole Dog the Bounty Hunter thing because I didn't get to have my take on that.
Well, no, this is like 20 seconds.
Go ahead. I don't care.
Went to Chili's today. And I saw they had chili on the menu, and I've never gotten chili at Chili's. And I didn't do it, but I almost got chili at Chili's today. Anybody ever even eaten chili? Did you even know they had chili at Chili's?
I assumed, because of the name. I would
ever eaten it?
No.
Yeah,
no.
Isn't that weird? All right.
I've had chili at Chili's.
You have?
A while ago, not recently.
But... I don't think I've ever been to a Chili's.
Most interesting man in the world.
They had the Terlingua Pride Burger, and they would put chili on it.
No, that doesn't count. I mean, a bowl of chili at Chili's.
What's up, Sunglasses? Why are you saying that so confrontationally?
What? I mean, chili at Chili's. I mean, come on.
I don't think I've ever been to a Chili's, though, honestly. I've only been to an Applebee's once. No, I like TGI Fridays. Like, they have them in the airport. It's the only time I go. And back in my neck of the woods, we had a thing called Bennigan's, and we used to always go to Bennigan's.
Oh, so, Bennigan's was awesome. Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
The Chili's and the TGI Fridays and the Applebee's, those things sort of came after.
Same thing. It's about the same thing.
Right, same thing. Yeah. It's like your fancy restaurant in town if you're, live in rural Alabama. That's like where you go to celebrate big events, which if it's probably why the commercials for those places are the way they are. They're always like people dancing in a cornfield or something. And it's like, yeah, well, I guess if that's where I lived, that's why I'd go to Applebee's or whatever. No, I've gotten drunk at an Applebee's and I've eaten at a TGI Fridays because there was a TGI Fridays convenient to an apartment that I once lived in. So that was easy. But no, I honestly don't think oh, wait a second. What is a Chili's 2? I've been to a Chili's 2. Is that the same thing or is that like
those are the ones in the airport and it's like a pared down menu, but I've eaten at the Chili's 2. Those are almost like airport exclusive.
They just have buffalo. That's what I think about. I get like buffalo wings, like boneless buffalo wings at all those places. And they're always good.
Right on. Dog the Bounty Hunter now?
Yeah. So I think
he's gonna catch him.
I didn't get to hear. I don't think he could catch anything except, whatever.
He's 68. I had to look it up.
Did you see how decrepit he looked? I mean, how awful he looked?
Dude, I thought he looked incredibly decrepit 10 years ago.
Yeah, I guess.
Right. So no, it didn't shock me when I saw him today. I was like, no, it's about right. And you know what? That's what you're supposed to look like when you're 68. You're not supposed to go crazy
No.
with plastic surgery. You're not supposed to look like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is almost 60, by the way.
You're not supposed to dress like half Tonto and half biker. That's what he's doing. He's like a 70-year-old man walking around dressed like he's Lou Diamond Phillips in 1986.
Yeah, he dresses like what we thought vampires look like in 1985.
Yes, he's walking around like a 70-year-old lost boy. That's what he looks like.
All right, so he's 68, but you're supposed to look like that at 68.
No, you're not.
And
No, you're not. You're supposed to cut your hair. You're supposed to wear a polo and khakis. You're supposed to at least have a representative attire for your age. This dude's
you know
still
what?
60s.
You're right. You're right. This is no defense of his wardrobe or hairstyle. No, I just mean like how old and busted he looks. You're supposed to look like Willie Nelson when you get older.
Except Willie Nelson can pull off anything he wants because he's friggin' Willie Nelson and he's an artist and he's got this body of work. Dog the Bounty Hunter does not. Dog the Bounty Hunter is a what do we call tabloid TV curiosity? That's what he is, a reality TV curiosity.
How old do you think Tom Cruise is right now? I just looked up his birthday.
58.
59. Very good.
Oh, okay.
59.
Well, he looks good.
And look, 10 years ago, that's how old Dog the Bounty Hunter was when we all saw him. We're like, dude, you're all ate up, but fun show.
But Dog the Bounty Hunter wasn't starting from the point of 25-year-old Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, 25.
Well, who among us is? But clearly he's had work done and kept it up, and that's not right. I mean,
Brad Pitt's like 60, isn't he? Isn't Brad Pitt in his late 50s too? He looks amazing.
Like 55 or so.
Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is older than me, and Paul Rudd looks like he's 32 years old.
So Paul Rudd has the overlapping genes with Dick Clark to where it just doesn't happen for him. As long as he keeps the grays out of his hair, you have no idea.
Although, you know who looks terrible? You know who, like, you would
don't say Steve Carell.
No, why would I say that? That's a rando name to throw out there. Why would I say that?
I just saw some pictures of him that were kind of iffy today, and I was like, it's the same thing. It's like that's what you're supposed to look like when you're 56. Okay.
Yeah, Steve Carell looks fine. He looks like Steve Carell. No, you know who's looking terrible? And again, this is a dude who started way ahead of us. Like, this dude at 25 was like way better off than any of us were at 25. So he started with such a great head start, and he's younger than me, and he's looking terrible. Leonardo DiCaprio.
No, come on.
Yes,
I think he had to fatten up for a role, right?
Oh, is that why? Because he looks very fat, and his face looks very haggard
and round, like puffy.
Yeah,
his eyes are kind of puffy out too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does not. It looks like Leonardo DiCaprio's dad. That's what it looks like. It would be like his dad if his dad wasn't a celebrity. He looks like Leonardo DiCaprio if Leonardo DiCaprio had never left Akron, Ohio. If you were just like, he never got the Hollywood treatment with his look.
And you saw him at Chili's across the table, yeah.
All right. So that's my take on my whole take on Dog the Bounty Hunter was he was probably just in town for something else, like some weird thing. And then he said, hey man, if I just swing by that place, it'll set Twitter on fire. So for like, I don't know, 3 hours on Saturday afternoon, it was the Dog the Bounty Hunter show on Twitter.
Yeah, but I think it might have been a little more fantastical than that, because he's like, I could really go over to that Landry family and do them some good if I could help them find their son. Because I'm the biggest believer in second chances. That's me.
Is that what he said? Did he have a
quote? Yeah.
Yeah, really? Something close to that. Yeah, he's like, I'm Mr. Second Chance or whatever. You gonna go pull it up now?
No,
he was, and he said it's also very personal to him because he lost his daughter somehow. Yikes. I guess with some death or something like that.
No, I think it's just because he called her boyfriend the N-word. That's why he lost his daughter. I don't think he actually lost his daughter. He's got daughters that don't talk to him because he's a racist. But I don't think it's, I
don't know. That's what he said. But whether that's true or not, I got no idea.
Look, I don't know. I don't know Dog's Bounty biography. I just know that, he's got daughters that won't talk to him anymore because of the whole... he's a racist and called her boyfriend the N-word and, all of that, and got caught on tape doing it.
Well, yeah, it says his daughter died in a car accident, according to the chat room.
Well, that's unfortunate. The other thing that I thought was interesting about Dog was that, did you see the new woman he's married to?
Kind of looks like the old one, but just a little bit smaller.
Just 15 years younger. It's like those people who buy the same damn car every time. It's just a car that's 15
Yes.
years. You know what I mean?
Exactly who that is.
I got a 75 Eldorado. I got a 90 Eldorado. I got a 2005
Sorry, Bugs,
Eldorado.
I think the Packers just won.
Yeah, they're about to kick a field goal here.
Good for them. Good for the Packers.
Now they already made it on my screen.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Wow. So you're much further ahead.
So
are you watching ESPN?
No, I'm watching it on NBC, and I'm watching the
or excuse me, on NBC. I'm watching on NBC too.
Yeah.
John is pointing out that his wife Beth died. She died like recently, right, or something, or maybe she died recently, but he got remarried even more recently because there was a story.
It would have to be in that order, yeah. But yeah, she had like a cancer thing or something, right?
Otherwise, it would be in bad taste.
I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that the first wife. I don't know this new one. But is it that crazy that he could catch him? Because look, Dog the Bounty Hunter is kind of a clown to us, but that's all we know him as is the clown. For, 20, 30, 40 years before that, he was literally like a bondsman who would go track dudes down and bring them in.
Like
not a complete fraud.
Like local car thieves or, guys who beat up their girlfriends who didn't show up.
Brian Laundrie a criminal mastermind? He's not Lex Luthor.
No,
he's an idiot.
No, but this is.
I thought that was interesting that Dog rated him a 6 in terms of like people that he's chased in terms of like difficulty. He thought he was a 6.
Oh, well, then it ought to be relatively easy for Dog to hunt this guy down in the next, couple of days, you would think?
He
thinks that he's in the Appalachian Trail.
James,
we laugh, but he could get him.
Everybody's saying that. Is it what is it called? Is that what it's called, the Appalachian Trail, or is there another name for it? There's like a nickname.
No, I think that's the name for it.
Yeah. So, James, what you were saying about the whole cottage industry that is sprung up around this whole thing, it's a total circus at this point. It has gone from being this very serious and potentially sad situation to the girl, Gabby, being found, and we know that she's dead, and then Brian going away. And there are no leads, by the way. We weren't any closer today to finding Brian than we were. And as a matter of fact, I imagine the more time that goes by, the further away he gets from whatever, or the more off the grid that he gets. But it had, I heard you say this, the cottage industry of this. You are absolutely right. We've got in the last week Nancy Grace back from the grave, John Walsh back from the grave. Now we got Dog the Bounty Hunter coming out. It is absolute. These people, Nancy Grace could not get a job on TV. She got relegated off of, she was on Headline News. Then I think she went over and did something on Fox, and there was just nothing for her, and people were done with her. She was gone. And then you bring her back for one guest spot because you got a pretty blonde girl who's missing, and now she's like, again, she's Oprah. All of a sudden, she's Oprah again. Nancy Grace is the most in-demand guest on every show in America. And if you can't get Nancy Grace, you get John Walsh. And if you can't get John Walsh, apparently Dog the Bounty Hunter is throwing his hat in that little booking line.
Yeah, cottage industry. I'm not saying I love it, but we recognize it, and it's kind of clever. What a weird way to make a living.
What a gross way to make a living.
Kind of ghoulish.
Yeah, ghoulish. Ghoulish is absolutely the word that I would use. Yeah.
I'd like to say to him, how about the lesbian couple that was murdered? Does anybody care about that?
No. Yes. Dog does not solve murders. Dog finds people. Dog is not about. Where are the psychics? That's the other cottage industry. Yeah.
Well, what do you mean Dog doesn't solve murders? He finds people. There's somebody that killed the lesbian couple.
Okay, but he's a bounty hunter. Once they find that guy and he skips out on his bail, then Dog will be on his scent. But until then, Dog's not an investigator.
Right now, he's chasing a guy that's guilty of credit card fraud.
Yeah. And that's probably right about where his expertise is, as far as the people that he's chased down.
Brian Laundrie hasn't been arrested, charged with a crime, out on bond and jumped.
Well, no, Dog showed up to the door with his arrest warrant.
What?
That's what it said.
An arrest warrant? He doesn't have an arrest warrant?
Well, his warrant, which is basically for credit card fraud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a warrant out for him. There's he's wanted.
Or else Dog couldn't pick him up.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought maybe he'd gone to laser jet printer and printed out Dog the Bounty Hunter warrant or something.
And misspelled warrant.
No, that's why he's bounty hunting, because there's a warrant out for his arrest for credit card fraud.
But how does that work? Like if you're a bounty hunter and there's a warrant out for some, can you just go and look at all of the people who are wanted on warrants and just pick and choose? Or do you have to be contracted by some official, you know what I mean? Like how does
the citizen's arrest, right?
Well,
Yeah, I would imagine you can make a citizen's arrest as anybody if the guy has a warrant out for his arrest.
I don't think
that's what his whole show was him tracking some dude down and citizen's arrest.
Yeah, but he was hired. His show, he was hired by bondsmen, people who were seeking dudes who had skipped out on their bail. He was getting paid by these people.
Skill set's the same. You find the guy, you detain him, you put cuffs on him, you put him in the back of your car. You usually have to give him a cigarette. Like 9 out of the 10 guys wanted a cigarette. So you put it in their mouth and light it for them and stuff, so they could smoke in his car.
That's because they know they're going to jail, and they're not.
The next group of cottage industry is going to be the psychics. They're going to start coming out of the woodwork, as pointed out by the chat room.
But after I just said it, that's what I just said about 5 minutes ago. That where are the psychics? I've already seen one. One is there's a psychic that's on. Here, I'll do my imitation of the psychic that's on Twitter. And by the way, this person is like 23, 24 years old. I mean, just getting into the psychic game, trying to establish themselves. Ooh. And they were billed as a world famous medium, or is it medium?
Medium.
It's medium, like small, medium, large.
Yeah, medium, not like the median in the road.
Not like the median in the street. Okay, no. I don't know. So this dude, here's what this dude said in his little TikTok video. Okay, so I'm getting really strong energy from Brian, and he's scared. He's afraid. I see that he's somewhere that he's not comfortable, and he wants this all to be over. And yeah, I'm seeing that he has regrets. He's done something that he's not Seriously, that was what the psychic was saying. And it had like 1,000 responses. You should contact the police. You need to contact the 4-point whatever police. Are you kidding me? That guy just said absolutely nothing. That is the biggest shell game going. These con artist psychics.
I agree.
Well, I almost envy them because, like, I don't know if it's because their parents taught them or they have no soul, but it does take a pair to just fire up a video and start pulling that off. Because on the inside, like, how come you don't start giggling? This has got to be like a Saturday Night Live skit where you're trying to not break character the whole time. Like, I'm talking to Brian Laundrie, please. Oh, no, wait. I feel somebody listening is having some troubles right now. They're not getting along with their, hang on. They're not getting along with their significant other. And you're just describing like half the population.
Right, exactly. It's all like the most obvious. Look, it's an understanding that 7 out of 10 people are dumb as a bag of hammers. That's what they were. If 30% of everybody that sees some bullshit psychic shell game goes, 3 out of 10. If 3 out of 10 of those people go, oh my God, that was so good. It doesn't matter what the other 7 out of 10 people say. You know what I mean? They've got those 3. It'll be $100 an hour if those 3 want to hear more.
Yeah. So here's where the real numbers are. Like, you're just throwing out theories. I've looked into this, and like the military can find a job. Stick with me. It's a little long to get there. The military can find a job for anybody. Not everyone in the military is going to be some sort of genius or, building missile silos or whatever. Someone's peeling potatoes. Right. Someone's gassing up Jeeps. Someone is swabbing the deck of an aircraft carrier with a mop.
Toilets don't clean themselves.
So the dumbest person that they will allow in the military, last time I looked, you had to have an IQ of 82. If you're dumber than 82, the military can't even find anything for you to do, like peel potatoes. You're too dumb for the military, which is the lowest bar, right?
Isn't 76 mentally retarded?
Well, it kind of floats because some countries have
countries like Poland.
yeah, right. Some countries have an average IQ that's down by 76, and so they kind of rate it lower.
Okay.
But 82 is the cutoff for the military. They will not let you in the Army no matter how good you score on the test or whatever if you're below the 82. We have about 10% of the population that's below that. So those are the people that I think these psychics score with.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop you here. So I just asked this question, and Google came back with anything under the lowest IQ to be a function to be. Okay, so IQ anything under 85 is considered retarded.
Wow.
Is basically the answer.
But we are going to forever see these commercials with
So the Army
charlatans.
lets in 82.
Isn't that right? Check the Army
I don't
cutoff.
know.
Check the Army cutoff because I hadn't looked that up in years. I'm just recalling this off the top of my head. But I think we're always going to be stuck with these commercials and these scammy things and, like Ginsu knives or whatever, because there's 10% of the population that is just that dumb enough to support it. We're never going to get rid of these people.
Okay, the minimum IQ score for entry into the military by current regulations is 92.
92. Oh, good.
Yeah.
That sounds much better.
Yeah.
See, I warn you, I'm just recalling this off the top of my head from a bit I did 7 years ago.
So anything below 85 is considered mentally challenged, and I think the 76 is mentally retarded.
Woo!
So, yeah, whatever, knock wood.
Dude, you go look up a map of countries' average IQ, and you'll see that there's a big chunk of countries whose average IQ is less than 90.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what countries are you talking about?
Like Afghanistan.
Yeah.
The average is less than 90?
Yes.
The entire country is retarded. Average IQs by country. I am apparently not.
Are you sure it's the average? I mean, if it's the average,
that
that's like the
people are below it. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead, Pugs. Go ahead. You be the bad guy, not me.
This is a great. All right. This is according to worldpopulationreview.com.
What's retarded again? 85?
Anything under 85 is considered mentally challenged, but mentally retarded is, I believe, 76. It said something like that.
Look, Kay's saying the Army cutoff is 85. Are you sure?
Yeah, 92.
Yeah, he just
the chat room saying it's 85.
Yeah, that's Kay. She's wrong.
No. Look here. Who knows? Well, I don't. I mean,
all right, countries. Give me some of them dumb countries.
Yeah, let's get the dumb countries here.
Go backwards.
If you're a country and you average less than 90, wow.
Yeah, where are you going as a country?
Well, that means you just have a whole bunch that are like way low. You got to have some people in the hundreds.
It also means all your geniuses got the hell out. This is really what it looks up.
Yeah,
I mean, what it comes out to.
Okay, here are the 10 countries with the highest average IQ. Okay. What country do you think is number one? Highest average IQ.
Are we counting like Liechtenstein and Luxembourg, or are we just talking big countries?
Dude, we're talking all the countries. What country?
South Korea.
Well, that's very good because just think about in high school or in grade school or elementary school, the smartest kids. What did they look like? And if you just then you can just guess. Korea.
I have them in my school.
I would say Japan.
Japan is number 4. Their average IQ in Japan is 104.
All right, so that's 4.
All right, give us the top 10.
All right. Here are the
Germany.
Here we go. Nope. Here are the 10 highest average IQs by country. Are you ready?
All right.
Number 10, Switzerland with an average IQ of 100. Number 9, the Netherlands with an average IQ of 100. Canada is number 8 with an average IQ of 100. Taiwan is number 7 with an average IQ of 104.
Yeah, you just got us blocked in China. Thanks.
Hold on. We're just going to run down a list here, and it's going to be really bad for people who hate Asians because,
right? I know.
Because here we go.
Bad news, white supremacists. You're not going to like this part.
There ain't a white people country in the rest of the list, I'm telling you. All right. Number 6, North Korea with an average IQ of 104. Number 5.
Can you trust those results, though?
Number 5, South Korea with an average IQ of 104. 4, Japan with an average IQ of 104. 3, Hong Kong with an average IQ of 105. 2, China with an average IQ of 105. And the highest IQ, average IQ among its population Singapore with an average IQ of 107.
Okay,
Yeah.
now let's go to the bottom of the list.
No, wait a second now. Let's get our chesty white pride out. Because I'm telling you, man, every kid that was super smart in school when I went was Asian. Well, mine was Filipino, Japanese, Korean. They were always the smartest damn kids in the class. Even like the Indian. See, I just stopped myself because I'm so worried about being politically correct. Yes, someone from India is called an Indian. Okay, so even
You're okay. You're safe with us, buddy.
I'm safe. I'm safe. But yeah, so Canada. You notice a country that's not listed in the top 10 highest IQs?
Are you gonna say United States?
It ain't us. We ain't in this list. Canada is, though. Canada's a lot smarter than us, apparently. All right, so now let's see here. Those were the 10 countries by IQ average by country. Oh, is this going to be one of those things that it isn't?
Well, I think we would not be in the top 10 because we're so much of a melting pot.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Well, I mean, if you just think about it that way.
We got a mix of smart people, a mix of dumb people. We got everything in between.
Goodness.
Go ahead, Pugs. What does it say?
All right, let's play this way. All right, let's play this game. All right, we'll do this. Who has a higher average IQ, Russia or the United States?
I would say it's Russia.
Russia.
No, it's the United States.
Wow.
Who has? Yeah, come on. I'm not going to start out with. I figured you guys would think that I'd be no. The United States has a higher average IQ than Russia.
What's the United States average?
97. However, we have 332 million people. So, or wait,
we were 3 points behind the Dutch. That's not bad.
Well, okay. So here's the bottom. Okay, so Denmark is one better than us, right? Wait, hold on. 38, 28, 27. Okay, so Denmark is one better than us. Do you know who? Okay, so United States average IQ is 97. Do you know who's 96 right behind us?
Mexico.
The people who can't even screw in a light bulb.
Poland.
Yeah. Poland. Okay. So it's like we can tell those jokes because we're one IQ point better than Poland.
Idiots.
Yeah. So, boy, you know where you really get into some bad ones?
Where's India?
India. Okay, let's see here. India suffers, though. Well, actually, I was going to say India probably suffers because they have such a huge population, but so does China, and China's number 2, tied for number 2. So,
I don't know that I can trust any of those answers.
Well, China
or North Korea.
It's fairly homogenous, and India is more of a melting pot like we are.
So, who is smarter? The United Kingdom by IQ. Who's got a higher average IQ? The United Kingdom or the United States?
I don't know. It's probably close. United Kingdom
is correct. The United Kingdom is way smarter than us. The United Kingdom's average IQ is 99. And remember, the average IQ in the United States is 97. And I say way smarter because there's like 20 countries in between us. They're like 20 points higher on the list.
Let's hear the bottom 10. Ready?
Bottom 10. Hold on. Wait, let me get to the bottom 10. I got to go all the way down. So, how many countries? How many? Boy, there's a lot of countries in this world. Oh, my goodness. Ooh. Oh, my God. I'm already at 170, 180. Oh, okay.
So this test is standardized by language?
The IQ?
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know.
Yeah, what? What kind of question is that? I don't know. It's an IQ.
Well, I mean, how do you determine the IQs in other countries? It has to be some standardized type of test.
Oh, the way it's measured. Yes, absolutely. The way you gather the information that pertains to what your end IQ is. Yeah, it's the same sort of mental gymnastics across the board. The words might be different. Here we might say you have a car in your driveway, and in Sierra Leone, they might say you have a water buffalo outside your hut. But yeah, it's all the same. It's not about the words or the actual test. It's about the way your brain works to unravel the question.
But don't you think that your mind might have the questions maybe are not exactly the same in other countries because
I'm sure
everything isn't the
Emil.
same?
I'm sure they thought of this, Emil. This
Yeah,
is what they do
I'm
for a
sure that
living.
you sunglasses here on a Sunday night isn't blowing the lid off of, Here's the thing, though. The bottom, 30, they're all sub-retardation. They are all, okay.
There you go. Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. I have to walk around trying to not be the bad guy saying, there's entire countries that are retarded. People are like, James, you're racist. It's like, I didn't even tell you what countries they are.
Oh, boy.
I know.
It's troubling. It's troubling too when you read these. Like the good.
That's why I ain't reading them.
Like this could be a
off.
list read by a white nationalist radio show.
Well, we already did the Asian thing, so we're not white nationalists.
Top of the charts.
It ain't us.
Top of the charts. Yeah. Smartest people on the planet, according to this. And we white people, we're not. We're somewhere in the middle. However, it is quite clear who the dumbest countries are. And it ain't Germany, it ain't Norway. It's first of all, the lowest country on the list is
this test seems like it's kind of bogus anyway.
Stop! You don't even know what the methodology is.
Right. I mean,
okay. So you got a high IQ, but you're dumber than a bag of rocks when it comes to street smarts.
Well, yeah, because an IQ isn't about being smart. An IQ measures your ability to learn things. It's not the things you learned; it's your ability. It's whether or not your brain.
Okay, so the U.S. is the most diverse population, probably, and so. I don't know. It just it seems
you ran out of gas on that.
No, I didn't run out of gas. I'm just saying we probably have the most diverse population, and so because of that, our scores are probably less than other countries. But would you rather live? I'd rather live in this country than any of the other countries that you mentioned.
Separate question.
As it turns out, we're not in the top 10. The United States is not in the top 10. But there's 200 countries listed.
Right, but if they're so damn smart, 20. Why does their country suck?
Stop it. We're in the top 20. That's fine. We are ranked. We are ranked in the world. We're not in the top 10. We're not going to a bowl game. We're not in the BCS for the smarts category bowl or whatever the hell you want to call it. But we are ranked. We were a ranked team. We get invited to a bowl. It's just going to be like the Holiday Bowl or something like that. We just ain't going to the national championship. But I'll tell you,
bottom 10, bro.
The last country here I've never heard of. I have never heard of Malawi. Malawi.
Yeah, you have.
No, I really haven't. And every year I love about the Olympics is the parade when a country comes by and I go, oh, I totally forgot about that country. I've never heard of Malawi. I don't know where it is. I don't know. It's
in Africa. It's tiny. It's one of them little ones in Africa.
Why has it got to be Africa?
Because I know where it's at.
Dude, the next 20 names, they're all Africa. The next 20 countries I'm going to read off
but is Malawi the dumbest? Is Malawi the dumbest? And what's their number? What's their average IQ?
60. The average IQ in Malawi is 60.
You mean 60? 60,
which is 12 points lower than what is believed to be mentally retarded.
No, 15 points lower.
Okay, yeah.
Your math's bad.
Sorry.
Oh.
Hey, Kay Hunter, Kay took an IQ test today. I wanted to see if my score lowered with age or if it was higher. Did it go up or did it go down? And
how'd you do? Air yourself out, babe.
It is Jeff Glenn wants to know. It is Malawi, Malawi, and it's 60. They've got 19 million people in the country, and their average IQ is 60.
Damn.
Next one is Gambia. Gambia has a 60. I mean, I've heard of Gambia. I'm guessing that's an African country.
I actually know this one well. This is a teeny tiny country. It's on the Gambia River. It's wholly encompassed by Senegal.
Okay, 2 million people. So that would lend credence to your.
Yeah, it's on the Atlantic coast.
St. Lucia, isn't that a Caribbean island? Yeah, you ever heard of St. Lucia? Where is it?
I don't know, in the Caribbean somewhere.
You're not representing your IQ very well. I have no idea where it is either. Where is St. Lucia? Is it a Caribbean island?
Yeah, it's in the Eastern Caribbean Sea.
All right.
Kind of looks like southeast of Puerto Rico.
All right, so here we go. I'll just run through.
Wait, what's their number? What's their number?
189, Malawi. 187, Gambia.
No. What's their IQ?
Man, they're all in the 60s at this point. Okay, we're gonna get about 20 countries until we get out of the 60s. Seriously, we've got to go all the way up to.
Well, then I don't subscribe to they're retarded if they're under 85 because they're functioning countries.
Yeah, and they're not. No, they're not. They're really not.
What do you mean?
They don't have running water. They don't have anything. They're having sex.
They poop in a hole in the ground. There are entire countries where they still.
You don't need to go to a country with a lower than 85 IQ to see people pooping in a hole in the ground.
Oh man, no, these are not functioning countries. That's the whole issue with Africa right now. None of those countries are functioning. They all need water. They all need, something. All right, so look, we got to go all the way up.
Retarded.
Well, I'm saying that by the Google's definition, which I just pulled up, yes, these are retarded. All right, let's start at 80.
All right, so then everybody that's got a high IQ or higher than their IQ should move there, and then they'll own the country.
But
is what
nobody
you're saying.
With a high IQ would want to move there.
No, they did that in the 1800s, and it didn't work out too well.
Called colonization.
Yeah.
Right. So then why is it going to work? So then why is it going to work? Why is that not going to work then?
Because nobody with a high IQ is going to move to Rwanda. Djibouti is another bad one.
Yeah, because Emil, then the elites try and implement a caste system, and then you have apartheid, and then there's a rebellion, and then
India is not good. India has 1.3 billion people in it. India only has an 82. Wait, yeah,
what?
82 average. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong. Hold on, now I'm seeing another set of numbers. I was looking at them right. I was looking at the IQ. The country rank is on the left, and the IQ is on the right. All right.
All right. This test.
All right, so how many countries
let me give you the smart ones. I'll give you the smart ones, and then we'll go back and I'll give you the dumb ones, just so we can get a little bit of give and take and see what the difference is here. All right, Singapore is 1, Hong Kong is 2, China is now my IQ is being tested because the ranking goes 1, 3, 2, 7, 6, 5, 4, 13, 12.
Yeah, because all the ones that tie stack up.
But then why is 2? Okay, Singapore, Hong Kong, and China are the top 3. Then we got Taiwan, North Korea,
crappy toys.
Yeah, and we buy them. People with a 105 average IQ make crappy toys, and people with an average. Where's America? Where's ours?
Like if you had a high IQ, you would think that you would come up with a better way to make toys that would last.
Hey, by the way, I stand corrected. We are not ranked. The United States, if there was like a power 20, we are not ranked. The United States is 27th in IQ.
I'm comfortable with that. I'm all right with that.
I'm good. I'm good with my IQ. I'm fine. We're
better than Malawi.
All right, so here we go. Here are the smartest countries, according to this. Singapore, Hong Kong, China, Taiwan, North Korea, South Korea, Japan, Liechtenstein. Score 1 for the white people. There's 1. The Liechtensteinians.
Yeah, it only has like 12 people in it.
If you're so smart, why are you in North Korea? Like,
smart man.
There's nothing smart about being in North Korea and allowing that guy to be the dictator.
You don't even get to eat meat. Your growth is stunted 4 inches lower than your southern neighbors because you're so malnourished for 4 years. I'm saying
this test is crap.
What?
Well, I mean,
it's a fun one.
Moving on. Yeah. South Korea, Japan, Liechtenstein, the first and only Caucasian, Anglo, whatever you want to call it, nation represented.
It's not even a real country. It's just a city.
Hey, Mongolia Mongolia seems to me to be like the Africa of China.
It seems weird because I haven't met one Mongolian in my entire life.
Kublai Khan, Genghis Khan, those are the only Mongolians I know.
And the Mongolian idiot. Hear that? You've heard that phrase?
No.
Never heard of the Mongolian idiots.
Is it Mongoloid idiot?
Same thing.
Is Mongoloid come from Mongolian? It might. You know what? That we're not supposed to say Mongoloid anymore because that's what people used to call retarded people. But they called them that because, oh God, here we go.
No, stop. Just go through the list. We're being less trouble with the list.
Okay, you're right. Finland is now we're getting into like 11, 10, 10, 11, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, and 11 are Canada, Netherlands, Switzerland, and Finland. All right, so now we've got a big chunk of descendants of the Caucasus regions. And then we go back into now we're into some Eastern Bloc stuff. We got Estonia, Austria, Belgium, Australia. Australians are I know a lot of Australians. They are some of the funnest people you can ever spend time around, but they are also, by and large, the dumbest group of people I have ever. I mean, just as far as things they know and things that they're willing to do. They all have this sort of. Nobody has the voice in their head that tells them, "Don't do that. You could get injured." They just do stuff.
I thought that Egypt was smart. When we were taught that they were very smart because they built the pyramids.
They were very smart.
I think we all know that was with a little help of the aliens. There was just some Egyptian dudes whipping a bunch of slaves. That was alien assisted. Let's see. All right, some more white countries, I guess. Australia.
So where's Egypt on the list?
We'll get there, man. Iceland, New Zealand, Slovakia, Hungary, Sweden, the Czech Republic, France. France at 98. That's kind of shocking. Would you? The French think that they're very, But French trash, man. There is French trash. Like I've seen French trash.
I have no experience with French trash.
Germany, Andorra, Croatia, Slovenia, Norway, Denmark, and then we get to us, the United States. So every country that I named has a higher IQ by average population. However, it's a bit unfair, though, because the United States has 332 million people, by far the most of any of the white countries that we've named. And I say white countries because we're talking about, Caucasians, the Caucasus regions, descendants from that part of Europe, which is where white skin comes from.
Yeah, but we're only like 60% white. So would our numbers be there? And we're not 60% Asian, the demographic that does well better than us.
Spain checking in. Spain seems to be the first Latin-esque nation being represented.
White. Spain is white.
Tell my grandpa that.
You're like, are they?
Yeah, right. But Italy too. My grandpa, Spanish people, Italian people, and Greek people to my grandpa were not white.
Yeah, well, Italians are kind of iffy.
Russia, Malta, Luxembourg, Latvia, Belarus. They all have an average IQ of 95. Are you shocked that the numbers are so low? Like,
no.
I mean, I can guess what EU and my IQs are, and they're all above 125 easy. I mean,
I don't think so.
You don't think yours is? I know for a fact.
No.
I know for a fact that yours is. I
don't even care though. Like, what's it? Like, that's the most useless number.
Okay, don't get defensive. I'm
not defensive, but I'm saying it to me like that number doesn't.
All right, but I don't think you're really familiar with how those number works because you've probably never had an IQ test, so you don't know what yours is. But the fact that you're an abstract artist tells me that you're easily above 125. You see things in a way other people don't, and that speaks to the way your brain works. James, you know how IQs work. Wouldn't you agree that all three of us are probably above 125?
That might be a little optimistic, but yeah, I mean, you're generally right.
What do you put yourself at? 150 plus? Is that where you think you are? I know what mine is. I'm very proud of mine. I know Kelly's is too, because we both took tests at the same time. We both
find myself average.
125 is definitely above average. Yeah.
No, I would go with the country average. Like, I would say if we're 95, I'm 95.
No, you're not. That's really bad. That's 95 is a real dumb guy.
Like, I don't care. Like, they could tell me I'm 85. It wouldn't bug me. I don't care.
You wouldn't be able to paint the way you paint if you were 95, unless you're on the spectrum.
Dude, have you seen how I paint? I paint like a third grader.
Your checking account says different.
Okay, you know what? I'm not going to kiss your ass over how smart I think
You
you
don't
are.
need
so
to kiss
whatever.
my ass. I find myself street smart. I don't find myself damn book smart.
An ability to be street smart speaks to your brain and your ability to learn things. Just because you see, book smart is not IQ. This is what you don't understand.
Well, see that shows you how dumb I am.
Kids start to get their IQs tested when they're what, James? Like 7, 8 years old? Isn't that when the first round comes? Those standardized tests that we all take in school. We all, these don't mean anything. Yes, they do. They determine whether or not they're going to fast track you in school, whether you're going to be in the honors programs or APs or all those kinds of things.
I fast tracked right out of high school. That was it. I just stopped going.
And you know what? So did Bill Gates. Bill Gates is a genius, and he dropped out too. So it's not about book smarts. That you can have a valedictorian with straight A's in their high school, and that person can be a 105. Meanwhile, the stoner who dropped out, who makes the wicked bongs in his garage, can be at 155. I mean, the IQ is not about what your grades say. It's about what science has determined your brain has the capacity to become. And it's whether or not they want to fill it with education. That's what an IQ. It's intelligence quotient. How much you can actually hold in there, what your potential is. That's what an IQ is.
All right, back to the list.
Yeah. Right. So now Israel is at 94. Ireland, Israel, Portugal, and Ukraine, and Vietnam. Vietnam, the lowest of the Asian countries that I've seen.
We saw and got to Cambodia. Remember, they killed all their college graduates in the 70s.
Yeah, you're right. Cambodia is at 92. No, Cambodia is at 92.
Thanks, Khmer Rouge.
Yeah.
What about the Philippines?
Good one, Pol Pot. Yeah, didn't we say the Philippines? Isn't that way up? Although, again, Philippines, there's some crazy stuff that goes on there. Let me see where the Philippines are. Brunei is really low on the list. Thailand, very low on the list. I consider all of these to be Asian countries, I guess. Sub-Asian.
What? Have you seen some of the food they eat in these countries?
Philippines.
Give them a high IQ.
Philippines, 111 million people, average IQ 86.
Yikes.
No. Let me check something. Let me just ask just a random other question to Google. I want to see, because we've learned right now, what did it say? 105 was the average for America?
No, it was 98.
Hold on.
Didn't we say 98?
Hold on. Let me check this again. Because I want to ask Google. I just want to ask her, what is the average IQ in the United States, and see if it matches up with this.
Good point.
All right. So the average IQ in the United States is 97. Okay.
I think that other list said 98.
Well, close enough.
Yeah, right? The methodology seems to work out, right, Emil?
What is the average IQ of the average United States of? Oh, crap. I screwed that up. Did you ever do that when you do the voicemail into Google?
You're like, I am too stupid for a computer to understand me.
And you put extra pressure on yourself, and then you end up screwing it up. All right. We'll simplify it. Average IQ. Okay. Didn't get that. Google says it didn't get that.
So in order for us to raise our IQ
in the United States,
we would only be able to do that by breeding.
According to medical news,
no one said anything about breeding, dude.
The score in the U.S. is around 100.
That's within 3. The other one said 97. So, yeah. Okay.
Well, I know nobody said anything about breeding, but okay, if we're averaged in and we're 98, and you keep on breeding 98s to 98s, how are you going to get any higher?
Man, I'm not touching this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know.
How eugenics started, Emil?
I'm not sure that my IQ is high enough to even understand the question.
Well, what I'm just saying, if you're in the United States and you keep on marrying people that are in the United States, 98s keep marrying 98s or whatever. I mean, do you have to marry somebody then with a higher IQ in order to get an average higher?
There's just as many people above that as below that. And so the people that are above that need to outbreed the people that are below that. So how many babies did you have?
And the people below
Pugs?
the people
how many babies do you have, Emil?
I only got one.
Yeah,
and I'm below that, though, they're not going to breed as
carrying
much.
the load myself, carrying the load for the smart people all myself.
There you go, the 140s and aboves. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, the 1%ers over there hanging out in their little Highland Park compound.
You want to know what some celebrity high IQs are?
I'm not thinking about it like that. I'm just thinking about it like, okay, if China is higher and people in China just keep on marrying people in China, aren't they then going to stay higher?
No, not if the dumb ones outbreed the smart ones.
Yeah. See,
It's just a numbers
it's
game.
not like everybody in China has a 105. It's the
Right.
average.
Bell
So
curve.
it means that there's a whole bunch
I
of people.
get what an average is,
And
but I'm just
also-
saying they haven't been going, like, we're not choosing our partner based on brains. Like, that's not normally how, the human attraction works. I mean, some people are attracted, I guess.
Well,
to
I
that.
don't think a lot of really smart people are hooking up with morons, I mean, I think you pretty much, I think water seeks its own level, especially, I mean, yeah, you are attracted to other things, probably, physically first, but you're not going to, like a guy with a 130 IQ is going to have nothing in common with a girl who's hot with a 105 IQ. It's just not going to happen.
Or maybe like an 85 IQ.
For one night, they will, but I mean, you can't.
Can we get to the dumb people on the list again? I'm dying to hear the people.
No, we're done. I'm not touching it. I think all the worst countries.
What happened?
Look, I'm sure David Duke has a podcast. You can go find that somewhere, and he's probably done this bit. You can guess what the countries are on that list. They are almost all in Africa, and half of them I can't pronounce.
Where's Afghanistan?
That is not. We'll go back to that. This popped up though. Celebrity IQs. All right. Listen to this one. James Franco. It's just random, smart and dumb celebrities. James Franco. What is his IQ?
140.
Man, I don't know.
Higher or lower than 140, James?
Lower.
How much lower?
All right, stop. You already.
It's 130.
Okay.
James Franco has a borderline genius IQ at 130. That's very, very good. Let's see. Conan O'Brien. Any guesses on his IQ?
132.
133.
Oh, come on.
I'm doing Price is Right rules.
Conan O'Brien's a genius. 160.
Find that. Is he?
Yeah, totally easy.
Genius.
160.
Nuclear subs. Is that what he's doing?
Here's another one. This is a famous one. And I know this one. Lisa Kudrow. Phoebe. The dumb one from Friends. What's Phoebe's IQ?
84.
Dude, she speaks like 10 languages. So,
She also sings Smelly Cat.
Yeah, she's a brilliant actress to be able to pull it up. 154, genius level IQ for Lisa Kudrow. We all know and love Lisa Kudrow from her days as ditzy Phoebe Buffay on Friends, but obviously she fooled us all because she's pretty brilliant. With a reported IQ of 154, she graduated from Vassar College with a Bachelor of Science degree. She worked with her father for 8 years while trying to become an actress and earned research credits, blah, 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 in the comparative psychology, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. She's got a whole bunch of degrees. She went to Vassar. This is another one that I knew was really smart. David Duchovny. What do you think his IQ is? This game sucks. 147. David Duchovny is 147.
How the hell am I supposed to know?
It has been reported that David Duchovny has an IQ of 147. He graduated from Princeton in 1982 with a BA.
Tell me the dumb people. I'm not impressed.
Tell me Donald Trump's IQ.
There are no dumb people. This is a list of smart people. I was just trying to throw you off.
How about Donald Trump? Do they have his IQ?
Not that I can see.
We're
Natalie Portman is at 140. Mayim Bialik, Blossom, is at 140. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Mayim Bialik is 163. Woo! Front runner, by the way, Mayim Bialik to be the new host of Jeopardy with a 163 IQ. I can see how that could work. Nicole Kidman is 132. I'm trying to find Gina Davis and James Woods. Those are always two of them that have really super high IQs. Let's see if they're listed here. Okay. All right. Well, apparently we're having a little bit of trouble here with this thing. Matt Damon, 160 IQ.
Matt Damon. I don't believe that.
Jordana Brewster, 130 IQ. Shakira with a 140 IQ. Shakira.
Doubt that.
Let's see, Matt Damon. Did you know Good Will Hunting was based on Matt Damon's real life? Just kidding, but actually, Matt Damon attended Harvard, though he later dropped out, and wrote the initial script for Good Will Hunting in his English class for an assignment. Madonna has a 140 IQ. I've heard that she's got a really high IQ, and
I believe that.
Number to go with it. Here's one. This is another one. You got Phoebe from Friends, the idiot character with
that.
Ashton Kutcher, 160. Totally buy that. This dude is like on the borderline of being a billionaire based on shit that he's done not acting. First in on Uber, first in on Grubhub, this early investor in Twitter. I mean, this guy has made crap tons of money just in Silicon Valley. And he's like a mini Dick Clark. Do you know how many shows he produces? I mean, this guy is, he's something. Ashton Kutcher might have played our favorite airhead on that 70s show, but he has a reported IQ of 160. Oh, and you know what's interesting about that? Do you know that he has a twin brother who's retarded?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Ashton Kutcher has a genius 160 IQ, and he's got a twin brother who's retarded, which is the same as Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking and Ashton Kutcher have the same IQ at 160. Jodie Foster, 132. She seems smart. Arnold Schwarzenegger, 135. He also seems smart.
I don't believe all these people have taken IQ tests. Are these like estimated IQ tests based on something or other?
I don't know. This is just some stupid celebrity.
Who the hell got Arnold
celebrities with the highest IQs?
Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't even speak English until he was like 20, and then he didn't even make it to the United States until whatever mid-20s.
I don't know.
But I thought English had nothing to do with the IQ test. Like it's in your language.
Yeah, but he's not
an ability to learn languages speaks a high IQ.
Does it? Those people in the countries you won't name speak like 7 languages each.
No, they don't. They do not. They make clicking noises and no, they don't. They don't even have languages. There's no. James Woods, 180, the highest.
No way. No way.
Gina Davis, 175. Those are the two that I said. Those are the two that are always famously, mentioned as like the smartest celebrity. Quentin Tarantino, 160. I don't know who Nolan Gould is, but he's at 150. Sharon Stone is at 154. I don't know who Ashley Rickards is. All right, so there you go. Those are all the celebrities with the highest IQs. Unfortunately, there's not a list of the celebrities with the lowest IQs.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, but I don't think that list exists. I don't think that there's a publicist out there who's really putting that out publicly. Tom Cruise has a 78 IQ. He's a handsome idiot.
Dumb as a Happy Meal.
Yeah, there you go. All right, that's going to be about it. Oh, you really want to know the lowest countries, right? So you want to go back down to the worst countries? Is that what you want to do?
Well, I thought we decided against that, but I'm okay with hearing it.
Tanzania, Republic of Congo, Zambia, Kyrgyzstan, Mauritania, Grenada, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts, Afghanistan. There you go. There's your Afghanistan.
There they are. I knew they were down there somewhere.
All right. Is this a real country or am I making this up? Erythristan.
You are making that up.
Real country or am I making this up? Djibouti.
That's a real country.
Real country or am I making this up? Eritrea.
That's a real country.
Yeah, it is. I was trying to trick you up on the Ethiopia. I have never heard of Eritrea before. Ever. Never. Where is it? Where the hell is it?
Right next to Ethiopia. In fact, when Ethiopia first dropped Marxism, whatever, when all the countries dropped it, they were a country together, and then Eritrea split off.
Nevis has a 74. Rwanda, Botswana, Cape Verde, that's got 76. Yeah, these are all very low. All of these are technically under the retardation line. That's that Google told us. Egypt, he wanted to know Egypt. The average IQ in Egypt is 82, and they've got 104 million people there. So that's a
Amol.
There you go. The people who
built the pyramids are retarded.
Yeah, I don't see
how
like
is that?
Iran is 85, Cuba is 85, Libya is 85. I'm looking for Mexico.
Who decided this test determined your IQ? Like that probably has some.
What would be a better test to gauge people's intelligence?
I don't know, but I'm just saying wherever the test originated from probably had some other countries at a disadvantage because they weren't as educated, because education has something to do with it in order to put the test together.
In 1905, the French government commissioned French psychologist Alfred Benet to identify students who would face the most difficulty in school. So the test was designed to find the dumbest kids in 1905 and basically strafe them away.
Good God.
Let's see. The resulting 1905 Binet Simon scale became the basis for what is known as the modern IQ testings. IQ, let's see, what was the IQ test?
So, but
originally?
it's based on a form. You say you can't be educated.
No, I said you don't have to. It has nothing to do with your
Right,
education.
but your education, it has nothing to do with your education, but they created the test in order to determine people that were having trouble being educated.
No, they created the test to determine which people in education would be wasted on because they wouldn't understand it. That's exactly what I just
Having trouble
Pardon me,
being
guys,
educated.
Pardon me, I'm going to get a refill.
Okay. The first of these tests was developed by French psychologist Alfred Binet, who was commissioned by the French government to identify students who would face the most difficulty in school. It was designed to figure out what students would struggle. That's
what I just said. Having trouble being educated.
yes. So, I mean, what is your point? That's
well, again, if you
got it, so if he determined you got low on the scale, that would mean that you probably aren't going to learn. You're probably not easily going to get physics. So why waste your time? And that's actually what this article is about.
But if your form of education in your country is not as developed as, say, France, that means you're going to score low on the test, but that doesn't mean that your mental abilities are maybe less than somebody. You're just not as learned as that form of education that they developed a test for.
I don't know what you're saying, man. They give it to 8-year-olds before you start embarking.
Right, but it sounds like to me that the countries that are trailing, it sounds like to me the countries that are trailing at the tail end there are countries where they're less developed, meaning they're less educated. So that's why their IQ score is lower. But I don't know that they're necessarily dumber individuals. They're just not as educated.
Okay, the IQ tests, again, are given to people before they're educated. It's to see how much education they can probably handle. That's what an IQ test is. It's like you're a blank slate, and they see how much they can color in. That's why they give it to children. That's why little kids get it. I don't understand what you're not understanding about that.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is I just don't feel – I feel like the countries that you're naming are less developed, but they've always been less developed. So
but we're the most developed. China is well, I don't know if China is underdeveloped. It's certainly not as modern as we are. The Western nations are all in the middle of the pack. The Western civilized nations, who we would, by our standards, consider the best developed, are
right,
all.
But if I created the test, there's somewhat a hometowning going on by my country creating the test.
All right.
Or Western countries creating the test.
So this is not something we intended to spend time on, but James walked us into it. So here we go. An intelligence quotient is a total score derived from a set of standardized tests or subtests designed to assess human intelligence. Not human knowledge, human intelligence. Your intelligence has nothing to do with what you've learned or what you're about to learn.
I understand.
Okay. So, designed to assess human intelligence. The abbreviation IQ was coined by the psychologist William Stern for the German term intelligentsia quotient, his term for a scoring method for intelligence tests at the University of Breslau. Historically, IQ was a score obtained by dividing a person's mental age, obtained by administering an intelligence test by the person's chronological age, both expressed in terms of years and months. The resulting fraction, quotient, was multiplied by 100 to obtain the IQ score. For modern IQ tests, the raw score is transformed to a normal distribution with mean being 100 and standard deviation of 15. Okay, so that makes sense. This results in approximately 2/3 of the population scoring between 85 and 115. So 2/3. So the average is between 85 and 115. That would be just like your average walking around, whatever. And what was the number? 85 was for the American military. So nobody under 85.
Right.
James?
That's what
Okay.
it said.
All right.
No. 85 was retarded. Military was 92. Because
Yeah.
I was remembering 82, but it was 92.
Scores from intelligence tests are estimates of intelligence. Unlike, for example, distance and mass, a concrete measure of intelligence cannot be achieved given the abstract nature of the concept of, quote, intelligence. IQ scores have been shown to be associated with such factors as nutrition, parental socioeconomic status, morbidity and mortality, parental social status, and perinatal environment. Well, that, you know what? Honestly, that this all speaks right here to E's point that these nations with, really bad healthcare systems and really, people living in huts and drinking out of puddles and all that stuff. It does seem like it would be the test would be a little bit unfair to them.
Yeah. If you spend a third of your childhood with diarrhea, you're probably not forming all the pathways in your brain you possibly could.
IQ scores are used for educational placement, assessment of intellectual disability, and evaluating job applicants. In research contexts, they have been studied as predictors of job performance and income. They are also used to study distributions of psychometric intelligence in populations and the correlations between it and other variables. Raw scores on IQ tests for many populations have been rising at an average rate of 3 IQ points per decade since the early 20th century. Okay, so that's good to know that since the early 20th century, the IQ rates have been slowly increasing. The average is 3%.
It can be improved.
3 points.
Cultures can improve. Nations can improve. The 98s aren't just going to sleep with the 98s and make more 98s. It can get better.
United States military selection in World War I. During World War I, the Army needed a way to evaluate and assign recruits to appropriate tasks. This led to the development of several mental tests by Robert Yerkes, who worked with major hereditarians of American psychometrics, including, oh boy, yeah, no, we don't need to get this deep. I'm looking to see something here that says what you were talking about, how we allow really dumb people in the military. I don't see it.
Well, 92 doesn't sound too bad.
92 is not, well, I mean,
it's 7 points away from retardation.
It doesn't sound great. I mean,
term is.
I don't know.
All right, so I'd like to see the country of the United States then broken down by IQ per state.
I love it. I think that's very interesting. Let's see what that is, because now we have a median. You're absolutely right, because the United States is one culture, and let's see where
it's gonna be like Vermont and Montana and Idaho.
Oh, this is a good one.
Washington, Oregon.
Average IQ by state, U.S. Let's see. All right. Okay. Okay. We compared the average IQ scores in all 50 states. All right, let's take a look at this. You know what? We're going to use the exact same thing, worldpopulationreview.com. That's where we got where we were doing the list of, the dumbest countries and the smartest countries by IQ. So just so that we have some sort of consistency, we'll use that. So here we go. The highest states, let's see here. Yeah, it is. It's the smartest states with the highest average IQ of around 105. Now remember, 97 to 100, depending on the source, Google or this source themselves, between 97 and 100 were the average for the entire collective United States. With the average IQ of 105, the smartest states are Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Massachusetts.
Yep.
Any guess on what the dumbest states are? You want to take a gander?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we put together the Confederate States and the Northern States?
Well, they've kind of done it for us. Mississippi is the lowest state with average IQ of 95 or below. So 95 is the lowest here on the chart. It's the all white. Okay, so here are the dumbest states: Alabama, Mississippi, Sorry, James. Louisiana,
Well, I'm not from here.
New Mexico. Yeah, that's it. Those are the only white ones. New Mexico, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Those are the really dumb ones. And then let's see. The next dumb ones: Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Arkansas, Tennessee, Nevada. And then we've got.
So you don't think that it has anything to do with education? I think it has I think that proves the
about
point.
IQs. I've just read what a damn IQ is.
But I think that proves over the years that those states had the population that was least educated.
Over the year, but this is by average.
If we're going back to like when the
2015.
But if we're going back to when the country got started back in 1776,
okay,
the people that were the least educated were on the south side of the country.
Well, if we're going back to 1776, there were only 13 states in the country.
Well, but I mean, ultimately, as we continue to grow,
you'd be wrong. The smartest people were on the south side, in Virginia, in South Carolina, and those territories were all.
All right. Well, then let's expand it to when we got to the Civil War. Okay.
Man,
I would say the least educated people were probably on the south side.
You just say that because you want it to be true because you're from
Buffalo. I'm not saying because I want it to be true, but then that's consistent.
Yeah, but what is that based on? Did you have some IQ scores that you believed in?
No, that's then consistent with what we're finding, that it's all the countries that are in these places of Africa and those surrounding areas that are rated on the lower side again.
Okay, but this was a average IQ. This quotient is from 2015. So, even the worst state in America still has a federal public school system. I mean, Mississippi. It's not like you don't have to go to school.
All right.
If you don't
think of the world.
Wait, let me give you more. Let me give you more states. Okay.
Well,
I gave you the smartest, and I gave you the dumbest states.
Okay.
So let me give you the ones that are just the next shade of blue from the smartest. Okay. Then we got New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, and Montana. So that's the next wave of smart ones. Now you want the next wave of dumb ones? Do you? Because it includes Texas.
I don't know that I would refer to them as dumb. I would say IQ, lower IQ. So
Texas, Oklahoma,
Arizona. Subscribe to this. But anyway, that's just
neither do I. I was asked a question, pull it up by state, and this is what I put. I'm not married to these. I'm just telling you what I'm reading. We're having a casual conversation here. I'm not going to go to a knife fight or go to the mattresses over any of this shit. I don't know. It seems like World Population Review is a legit, it seems like they've done their thinking here. I mean, it keeps coming up in all these IQ Googles that I do. So, it's not like, in other words, it seems like a publication for scientists. It doesn't seem like something that's, usually discussed on a live stream at 11:30 on a Sunday night. Okay. California is also a dumb one. Let's see here. Maryland is a dumb one. It really does. You know what? The further north, like all of the northern border states, Washington, Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and Massachusetts. Those are all basically the smartest states. Those are with the highest average IQ. And their average IQs are between 104 and 105. And the lowest ones are 95. And that's Mississippi is the lowest. It's the only bright white one that stands alone. Mississippi stands alone, but then Alabama is right next to it, a little bit shaded, little less, and then Louisiana. So those are the bottom three: Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, all right there. Those are what? Are those are the Gulf states, right? With the exception of Texas and Florida.
Yeah.
Who are in the next group together.
Right.
But I would say that education was more predominant up in the north than it was in the south.
Well, you're not even basing that on anything.
No, but over the years it keeps on improving and improving and improving.
It couldn't just be that those three states have the highest concentration of people from those countries that were doing the horrible on the international list. It couldn't just be that? It couldn't be like a mix of populations. Well, you have some of these guys from the cultures in the countries that do better, and then you have a mix of more of these guys. Seriously, look it up by ratio. What are the top 3 states for that? And see if it doesn't just line up perfectly. Why can't it just be that simple?
I mean, Canada being up there high on the list with them having English as their predominant language that came from Britain.
Oh, this is even better here. This so I just did what James asked, and now I've got 1 through 50 of the states and how they're ranked as far as their IQs.
And so that's why California and Texas get dragged down. They have a higher percentage of their population that is not from the cultures and the nations and the background of those countries that show up better on the list.
So, and James, to answer your question, they absolutely, this is a different website, different question altogether, 100% matches up. States with the highest IQs: New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts, North Dakota, Minnesota, Montana, Iowa, and Connecticut. Although the numbers are different. Oh, no, they're not, because these were 105. Yeah, so we're right. And here are the lowest IQs by states. It says here, Northeastern and Midwestern states dominate the top 10 with impressive IQs ranging from 104.3 to 103.1. At 104.3, Massachusetts and Maine has the highest average IQ, over 10 points higher than the bottom state. In that bottom state, Mississippi, 94. Louisiana, 95. California, 95. Hawaii. Hawaii. I didn't even see Hawaii because, it's always off on the side in the map. I didn't even mention. But yeah, Hawaii's in with the numbskulls. And then we got New Mexico, Alabama, Nevada, Arizona, Arkansas, and Tennessee. Those are the bottom 10 states with the lowest IQ. Mississippi has the lowest average IQ of 94.2. Mississippi is closely followed by many of its southern neighbors. That seems a bit, didn't need to go there. All of them are southwestern states except for the tropical Hawaii. We've exhausted the IQ conversation. Are we pretty good?
I still think it's got to do with education.
You're just saying that.
No, I'm not just saying that.
I think it couldn't possibly be like cultural. It couldn't be like possibly that the cultural norms of the people of Japan have their mom and dad focus more on their kids' homework, or making sure they read to them more, or having more books in the house, or making them learn fiddle when they're 5 so they can burn even more pathways in their brain. Maybe there's some credit that can be given to good parents out there. And if that is the case, then what do we need to do to improve our kids and how we're doing in IQ? Go see what they're doing over there. Maybe we need to start making our kids play the fiddle at age 4. Maybe we need to start focusing a little bit more on homework and being on the math team rather than being on the basketball team or the football team or soccer team, or, maybe winning all these Olympic gold medals isn't like the first thing that should be on our mind. Maybe we, because cranking out doctors and scientists, and that should be more of a focus than cranking out stars.
But if the test was created to determine those people that would have trouble being educated, you're starting from education.
Nope, you got that wrong. You're jumping.
I don't have that wrong. Read what you just read. You said that. It was people that were having trouble that would be weeded out to have trouble being educated.
No. See, you didn't listen to what I said.
I did listen. Read it again.
The Simon Benet test, which was created in 1905 by the French government, is the basis for the modern IQ exam.
Correct. And why did he create the test? Why did he create the test? Read it again.
That's why the test was created to determine which students beginning their formal education would be worth the time.
Would have trouble being educated.
Right. So
again, if I'm not educated, I'm starting out behind the 8 ball. If my ancestors weren't educated, I'm starting out behind the 8 ball.
But you're being given the IQ test before you're educated to determine what your education path will be. So you're saying, well, if they're not educated, they're not scoring well. No, the IQ test is
You're
giving
taking it from the standpoint of somebody that's educated created the test to determine people that would be educated. If you're around people that are educated every day, inherently you're going to get educated whether they're educating you or not.
James, anything? I don't know where to go with that.
If you'd read over what it said, they started with an educated dude that was trying to determine people that would have trouble being educated. Well, doesn't it make sense if I come from a place where people aren't educated, I'm going to have more trouble than if I come from a place when people are educated?
Okay. Emil, as just what metric of intelligence would you use?
I don't know what metric of intelligence you would use.
Well,
I'm just trying to say it's a homer. It's a homer test if a guy that was educated created it versus a guy that was uneducated not creating it. And the determination was, well, us that are educated are going to feather out those that aren't educated or are going to have trouble being educated. It's like saying, okay, I'm a football player. I know the rules of football. So I'm then therefore going to tell the people that are more likely to play football better are the ones that know the rules.
Okay. I mean, but even if they had a flawed premise to begin with in 1905, there's been some refinements made to the pedagogy and the algorithm since then. Okay.
Yeah. The basis for what became known in the modern era as the IQ test is the Simon Benet test from 1905. The French government was trying to figure out, they were spending money to educate their population, and they wanted a way to determine which people was the money going to be wasted on, who were the idiots. So that's why they created this test before the young people were educated. So, but I mean, I guess what you're saying is that by osmosis, you have even before you enter school and begin your formal education, because of the people that you associate with and because of your immediate culture, you may have an advantage if your parents are smart, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So
I mean, if you live around an uneducated people that are more intelligent,
okay,
you're going to develop things through first year, second year, third year that other kids aren't developing.
Yeah, but I think, okay. All right, let's go back to this. Serbia. Any guesses on where Serbia comes in? Serbia comes in at 90 on the intelligence quotient. It's just, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So we're kind of in some minefield territory here because there's, I don't want to say there's some obvious things you could point out, but the overlaps there are strong. The states that have.
Are we dancing around nature versus nurture? Is that what? Because Emil seems to be suggesting that it has more to do. A good score on an IQ test has more to do with nurture than it does with nature. Well, whereas I think these tests are designed to weed out nature.
Yeah, it's always going to be a little bit of both, and
of course,
some of it's going to be how good of a job as a parent are you doing, making sure that kid reaches his full potential, and are you giving that kid the conditions around him where like he doesn't have the joke's real though, diarrhea for a third of his childhood, he'll be able to burn more pathways in his brain, spend a little more time studying, less time on the hole out back, digging the latrine. It's always going to be something, but there's always going to be cultural issues around it too. One of the theories on why Afghanistan's is so low, especially when a lot of its Muslim neighbors around it do so much better, is because the number of first cousin marriages they have, it's up to 50% of the people born in Afghanistan have their parents or cousins.
So it is like Mississippi.
It's very similar. There's overlap. Yeah, exactly.
There's the same.
Find it anywhere.
All right, genealogical cesspool going on.
I saw that documentary Deliverance about this. It was spot on.
All right, should we move off the IQ subject? I don't think we need to go any further, other than we found out that James Franco has apparently a high IQ.
That's wild, isn't it? Hey, and what do we do? What do we do?
And that Asian people are really smart, but anybody who's gone to elementary school in America in the last 50 years would have already known that the Asian kids are really smart.
If there is a superior race, you might want to look that way first.
Maybe not a superior race at all things, but certainly when it comes to math.
Yeah, the smartest, right.
And I'm telling you, a little Asian girl carrying a violin case is probably a safe bet for high school valedictorian in 5 years. That's all the smartest. They always learn classical music. Have you noticed that? Like the smartest Asian kids always in my school learned classical music. And
I made 2 fiddle references earlier.
What's not fiddle, violin, classical. They're playing Brahms. They're playing Mozart. They're playing that kind of
down
stuff.
here. It's a fiddle.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. What else, James? You got anything else? What how'd your horse do this weekend? He
Not
upset
as well as
lifestyle.
I liked, but he finished 4th. So
Now this was at Churchill Downs, right? The
Mhm.
Kentucky Derby. I was trying to figure out today because I picked him up at the airport. I had to guess. I had to Google like 3 different times. I had no idea what. First of all, turns out I don't know where Churchill Downs is. I don't know. Is it in Lexington, Kentucky?
no, it's in Louisville.
Okay. See, because I searched first Cincinnati because I needed a departure airport for you. I needed to know, I knew you were coming into Love and I knew your flight number, but I needed the departure airport. I guessed Indianapolis. I guessed Lexington, and I guessed Cincinnati before finally asking Google, which, is probably what I should have done in the first place. I said, hey, Google, if I was going to Churchill Downs, what airport would I fly into? And then they said Louisville. And honestly, for like one split moment, I went, oh yeah, that's right. Louisville is a place. I didn't even think of Louisville.
Do you think it was a place where they made bats?
No, I didn't.
The Louisville Slugger?
I did. If you had asked me in that moment to name 100 random American cities, I would not have named Louisville. I didn't even recognize it as a place. And I probably put it somewhere in with like, I don't know, West Boise, wherever that would be.
Bug tussle.
I didn't, but now that I think about it, I've driven through Louisville, and it's I've driven through Louisville from Indianapolis on my way to Lexington, and it's a place. There's a bridge that's all lit up that you drive over when you go across. I think it's the Ohio River there, and then you can see like downtown Louisville. So is that where you stayed? You stay in Louisville when you go to Churchill Downs?
I did.
So would Churchill Downs then be like a suburb of Louisville, like the way?
No, it's just a racetrack inside of Louisville.
No, I know, but is it located? Oh, so it's inside Louisville proper.
Yes.
Not like whatever our park is here. Lone Star Park is in Grand Prairie, which is a suburb of Dallas.
Right.
Literally, the city of Louisville is where Churchill Downs. See, I thought it was Lexington. Is there any kind of horse racing thing in Lexington?
Yes, Keeneland. There's another racetrack that's in Lexington.
That's not what I was thinking of because I've never heard of Keeneland. I don't know where that is. Yeah.
And then there's like Turfway Park. They have several different racetracks in Kentucky.
You ever come down here to New Orleans? They got the fairgrounds.
Right. And they've got Delta Downs. And they have Louisiana Downs. And they have Evangeline Downs. So there's like 4 racetracks in Louisiana.
Pug, seriously, have you spent any time at the horse track?
Outside Chicago, we have a place called Arlington Park, and I've been there a couple of times, but only for media-related things.
And they had their last day yesterday. They just closed.
Arlington?
Forever.
Yeah, the Bears are supposed to be moving there. They're going to build a new football stadium out there. But when I was very little, I used to go like with my grandpa to see harness racing. And I've never seen it anywhere else other than on the south side of Chicago. Do you know what harness racing is? Have you ever
still do it every day, right, Emil?
I don't know.
Harness racing?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have harness racing in different states. Not all states, but
it's a dude on a chariot. It's like chariot racing.
Chariot racing. Who the hell does this? This is all driven by gambling 100%.
Gotta be. Yeah.
It's in New York. It's in Illinois. It's in New Jersey. I think Pennsylvania.
Even
someplace in Florida.
It had a very mobbed up feel.
It is.
The park was
all driven by gambling. This would not exist if not the narrow funnel of legal gambling that is driving addict gamblers to these horse tracks. No one gives a damn.
What about Greyhound racing is driven by gambling.
Of course it is.
Mean, it's all driven by gambling.
Of course it is.
Sports betting.
Well, sports betting is barely legal in like 5 places now. But as
what do you mean barely legal? It's like legal just about all over the country.
It's legal everywhere except maybe 5 states. Yeah, right. We got that backwards, man.
I know, but they still have to pass things on the state level, and it's not like you can just go into the strip mall and do some sports betting.
Yes, you can. Yes,
you can just do it on your app on your phone.
From Maine to Florida, throughout the entire Midwest, it only stops when you get to like Texas and Louisiana in the Bible Belt. Because sports gambling is, especially like Emil said, the phone apps. I've got a phone app, or I had one on my phone. betrivers.com, which was like a big one that they were pushing in Chicago. Every other commercial, James, on Chicago radio is for legalized gambling. It's everywhere. And it's
That's so delicious. Well, look, the more legal it gets, the more open it gets, the more these tracks are going to shut down because no one really gives a damn about a guy on a chariot, harness racing. No one's thinking of putting
Well,
posters
but they
on their
get
wall
a
when they're a kid
portion.
if they're
They
saying
get a portion
favorite harness racer.
of the money from the casinos. So, for example, in Arkansas, they've legalized casinos, and so the horse racing will get a percentage of the purses from the slot machines. Same thing in Louisiana. You have slot machines in Louisiana. A portion of the money from the slot machines goes to the horse racing purse distribution. So the horse racing purses for the race are higher in states that have a form of legalized gambling. That's why the racetracks in Texas don't attract a lot of the high-end horses because their purse structure for the races are lower. In Kentucky, in Louisiana, in California, in New York, they're subsidized by these slot machines or casinos. Iowa is another state that has casinos that make the purse structure higher.
Also, let me jump in here. What he was saying about these horse tracks and all that stuff that are closing down and going out of business, they're doing that happily because certainly throughout the Midwest, I'm looking right now at a thing, Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, Iowa, and Minnesota, all of them with some form of legalized sports betting. What's happening is if you're the racetrack, the harness racing track or the little small, horse racing track.
You're the one who gets the license.
You're the one who gets the sports book. They're all getting sports books. So they're closing down their big, giant, high overhead racetracks, and they're opening up these like sports bars that look like Vegas sports books. And they're popping up all over the place. It's really cool, man. I mean, I like it. I don't sports bet myself, but I don't understand it really, but I think that it's really cool. This is just listen to all of these companies. All right. These are the largest legalized sports betting books in America right now. Of course, we've all heard of DraftKings. I mean, when you just said there's only like 5 states, you really think you'd see DraftKings ads on every single television show if it was only?
I got DraftKings stock in my IRA right now.
It's booming. DraftKings, BetMGM, PointsBet, The Score Bet, FanDuel, BetRivers. BetRivers is the one that I had. Parks, William Hill, Unibet, FoxBet. Fox is involved in it now. FoxBet and Betfred. I'm guessing William Hill. You're an old school gambling guy. Is William Hill like a famous odds maker or something?
William Hill is a famous book from Britain.
Oh, okay.
That's where William Hill originated.
They're
an odds maker in Great Britain.
So here, this is where sports betting is now legal, James. Okay, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware,
Florida, Georgia, Hawaii. You're just reading all the states. Yeah, it got legalized because of a Supreme Court decision, basically, but the states still don't have like casinos where you can just walk in and do it.
Yeah, they do.
Mine do. Yeah, they do.
Okay, look, in Louisiana, they just tried to pass the bill last year and it failed. And they tried to pass again this year and it failed. And
for sports betting, but you have casinos. You have riverboat casinos.
We have a couple here and there, but it's not widespread. You guys
also have a weird biblical influence on all of your law. The Bible Belt is always going to be 20 years behind the rest.
No, you can't say that because Mississippi.
I mean, if you drive from where you are in Tyler to Shreveport,
I'm not in Tyler.
but we're used to be in. Yeah, you drive to Shreveport, you're going to see a majority of the cars in Shreveport are from Texas. The same way if you drive over the border to Oklahoma, where there's Windstar and there's Choctaw, all those cars there are going to be from Texas. So why Texas hasn't legalized gambling and wants to give their money to Oklahoma and Louisiana, I don't know.
Dude, I'm telling you.
And Arkansas.
You look at the two things: legalized sports betting and weed. I mean, those are two multi-billion-dollar industries that are popping off in every corner of this country. And there are a number of states right now, Texas as being one, who is going to start to look at all the cool shit that these other states are going to have, and they're going to go, okay, we need a piece of that. I mean,
I think every state that touches Texas has got legalized gambling, but Texas.
In the state of Illinois, where I came from, I can tell you that because of our long-standing reputation and decades of political corruption at the state level, I mean, 3 of our past 5 governors have been sentenced to prison. So, most recently,
Tradition,
Blago.
yeah.
Yeah, it is, of course. George Ryan. Actually, I was going to say Blago was the most recent one, but no, I believe it was George Ryan is the most recent one. The guy who replaced Blago also went to prison. But yeah, so Illinois, because of our years and years of corruption there at the state level, we found just about 5 years ago that the state pensions were all bankrupt. Anybody that was my mother, who spent the last 20 something years of her life working for the Illinois State Police, went to her pension and like nothing there because of all of this bullshit. So in order to save these people and in order to sort of make sure that they can make good on the promises of a pension and state workers, the state of Illinois went in one session. All right, sports gambling, legal. All right, weed, legal. And now they're flush. And every other state is going to look at that and go, I mean, I remember Colorado when they were the first, and there were people who were saying, oh, it's going to be such a failure. You'll see, it's not going to work. And in the first year, they did like $2 billion in new tax dollars just off of the whatever county Denver is in. And that's just one county, not even the whole state. So all I'm saying is, guys, here in Texas, we better fucking get moving, because you don't want to be last in line at the party. And here's the other question for you guys. And these are all vice laws, right? These are all things, basically laws that are designed to inflict one's moral code on others, right? That's the only reason we don't want gambling, is because, and it's the only reason we don't want people getting high, because our moral code says that there is something illicit about that and something not good for society. So those are all bullshit moral code laws. How long before prostitution is legal? I mean, how long before somebody finally makes the case that it would be safer and better for communities and the people involved if you would just legalize it and regulate it? I think we're about 10 years away from that.
20.
You think 20?
Well, it's legal in Vegas.
It is. It's legal in Vegas.
Not outside of Vegas, in Henderson or wherever the Bunny Ranch was.
Henderson.
But don't you think that that's the next one to fall? I mean, if you had told me 10 years ago that by now we would have nationalized a legal gay marriage and weed being legal, and I would have said, no way, we're 20 years away. I think they were way ahead of what I assumed was going to be the case.
I think with all this pushback on abortion, that prostitution being legal is just not even in the realm of possibility.
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I think that, you're right. They do seem to be two completely different issues.
Well, they're completely different, but related.
Completely different people. But that happens all the time. You'll have one law that gets passed that seems to be so far on this side and appeals to these people, and then to counterbalance that, another law on this side will also be. So, I mean,
well, we've been on this slide on vice crimes since like the 30s, basically. And aside from a little pop with the drug war, can you imagine that there was enough support in the entirety of the United States to make alcohol illegal? It became a constitutional amendment. So not only does the House and Senate have to pass it with supermajorities, the president has to sign it, but then 3/4 of the states have to ratify it. 3/4 of the voters of our states said, no, I don't think alcohol should be legal in like 1921 or when prohibition.
But they didn't, James. I mean, that was sort of snuck through. People weren't really paying attention.
You don't sneak through a constitutional amendment.
Yeah, you do. When less than 3 out of 10 people actually read the newspaper, as it was in the 1920s when this was all being debated. Yeah, that was snuck through. People didn't even know it. There were lobbyists of the time. I don't think they actually had the term lobbyist back then, but people were bought off for that vote. And one day people woke up and learned that alcohol was illegal, and they went, hey, wait a second. I mean, people weren't really paying attention.
No, look,
that'd be harder to do today.
It was called the temperance movement, and they would have
I know what
protests,
it
and
was.
they would, like,
Right.
make alcohol illegal or like
And-
the devil sauce or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, Jesus rode a dinosaur, but it was big enough that it at least got passed, and it didn't get immediately repealed. It didn't get repealed for what, 15 years? How long did Prohibition last?
No, it wasn't that long.
Yeah, it was just insane that something that quite a few people I know drink on an almost daily basis, myself included, it was illegal. And look at how quickly it turned. Prohibition was still a thing in the 30s. By the time the late 50s got around, like Mad Men is on, they all got bourbon in their offices. And, I'm sure that wouldn't happen in most Bible Belt offices, but it was happening in pockets of America.
It was 12 years. It was longer than I thought. Yeah, it was 12 years. You said 15. So you weren't all that far off. It was but the point is, in 1920, I mean, nobody was informed as to what was going on in Washington. They were pretty much doing whatever they wanted. So the idea that it was a national popular idea is just not true.
Well, they were drinking whiskey. They were drinking booze. They may not have been the most up to date, informed with the Twitter in their pocket like we are, but they definitely knew if there's a constitutional amendment coming around. And the representatives.
No, they really didn't. There was no people.
And their representatives in both the national and state legislatures approved it.
There was no talk radio. There was no podcast. There was one newspaper, and half the people could read. I mean, the illiteracy rate back then.
Then how come we didn't get more goofy amendments like that? This happened in like 1920. We weren't that backwards.
We're lucky.
We weren't that backwards in 1920.
Yeah, we were pretty backward. By today's standards, we were pretty backwards.
Right, but then how come they didn't make it illegal in 1840 or 1860 or some other dumb time before that?
Because nobody really wanted to. There was a reason that it was. And you brought it up, the temperance movement and the women, they became very popular, and the churches became very popular, and the reverends in the rural parts of America, they scared a lot of congressmen, and a lot of congressmen backed it. That's all it was. But it wasn't like there was a popular consensus among Americans in 1920 that they wanted to get rid of all the alcohol. And honestly, like where I come from in Chicago, it didn't change at all. I mean, more bars opened up. Speakeasies just became a thing. And it became very sort of jet setty and very, very cool and hip to be able to, do that. I think it was just, and it didn't, then you had all the moonshine. Like it sucked that it was illegal, but it's like weed now. People who want to get stoned in Texas are having no trouble getting stoned. They're finding their weed, right? I mean, it's not like.
I don't know, Pugs. That's illegal.
That is illegal. You're absolutely right. There you go, James. All right, let's wrap this up. That's it. This was kind of a weird fly by the seat of our pants show. This was, we just made this entire show up. We talked for
Isn't that what we do all the time?
No, typically
Isn't it all made up? We don't have a script.
I typically do have a script. I typically have an outline that I go from, and that's why I ask questions that, maybe they seem like I'm just off the cuff, but no. I did absolutely no preparation today because remember, I was very upset that I sent my son home broken this weekend. I was not able to concentrate on anything. All right. Thank you, everybody. We're going to be back tomorrow at noon for the high noon edition of Pugs and Company. We appreciate you hanging with us tonight. And maybe you learned a little something. Maybe you're now more confused than you were when you first tuned in. Either way, that works for us. I am Pugs Moran. That is James Parker. And, of course, the world's most interesting man, Sunglasses, a.k.a. E, the artist.
Whatever.
We'll be back tomorrow at noon on the radio.